Okay, so here we have a lizard man that somebody caught on tape, and I'll leave the link to the channel below, but otherwise I keep them anonymous, but unless they specifically ask to be published. Now, in this case, of course, it is a little blurry because it's zooming in on a far shot, and she says that she saw a man walking by in the forest and that he put his head down, and she got the sense that something was wrong. And then but then she said that she was walking in this other part of the forest when she just got this sense that something was watching her, and she was filming with her camera. And so we get two things here. We get the lizard man, and you can see the head, even though it is, it's out of focus, or because it's zooming in on a far shot. But you can see that there is a definite shape there, and it looks like this statue. I'll put the picture up side by side, and you can kind of see it kind of looks like that shape. It's kind of like that nose cone shape. But you also see in this what looks like the cloaking from the movie The Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and she records that. Now in this case, you know, it can look like a refresh rate something of a movie that's cut, so it's just a filming anomaly. But I looked at this and I think she's right. It's some kind of cloaking device. So there's some other being that's closer, like right in front of the camera. And she said she felt something watching her. So there was this one in the background, and then it looks like one in the foreground. But this is a pretty cool catch, I mean, for what we can get in terms of like live catches. Even though, of course, it is, it's, when I first saw it, I couldn't even see it. And then I look carefully, I'm like, what? And then I can see, it's like you can see like these large peck kind of shape for his chest, and then you see the cone-shaped lizard man in the front. So yeah, and she said that she definitely felt something watching her, and she was telling her husband about it, and she's like, there's something wrong here. And then she noticed this on the camera footage later. So here it is. Don't worry, I'm going to zoom in on this so you can see. I just wanted to show the original cell phone shot. But when you zoom in on it, you can really see what's going on. You can tell, there's absolutely no doubt about it. This is some kind of reptilian or perhaps even amphibious being. It's hard to see. But it's got like a large mouth. You see like this like elongated area in the front, and then you see like a nose cone, and you see like this triangular shape leading up on its nose, and then you see the eyes, and then you see what looks like a muscular body, but you can't see the hands or anything because it's so far away. It's kind of blurred, and you can't see what he's in. But it looks like, almost looks like in this one shot, like he's got like this big snake wrapped around his kind of shoulder and chest area, but it's hard to see what that is. That's probably compression, so just so you understand, in video, in order to save space, make a smaller file, compression takes certain colors that are similar or that are maybe static and not moving in a certain area and makes them all one, so that there's not like millions of colors, which takes up more data. And so that's what compression is. And then of course, as you're zooming in, the shot's becoming less sharp. But as I said, in the future, we're going to be seeing these things right in your face. People are going to see, people are going to know. But perhaps not for a while, perhaps not even for 1,000 years, because God's word tells us that serpents, these reptilians, will continue to eat dust. Man was made of the dust, God says, for the next 1,000 years. The scorpions are insectoids, so we haven't got as much footage of them because I think they stay more out of sight. They stay in the hell dimension more, whatever that dimension is that hell is in, and so they don't come out. But some people have seen them, and the grays, I believe, are like human insectoid hybrids. That's what the whole hybrid program is. But the Luke 10:19 tells us, behold, I give you power to tread on serpents and scorpions and all the power of the enemy, telling us that the main two enemies, there's other ones, like I said, there's felines, canines, and others, but the main two enemies are serpents and scorpions. And who he gives power to tread on them, that is, expose them like I'm doing here, are Christians. Okay, so that was some pretty good evidence. Now, if you're watching this and you're saying to yourself, well, this isn't real, you're in denial because you can see the shape right there and you know it's not faked. So this is real, and you may be saying to yourself, what are these things? Okay, you can see it's a non-human of some kind. Could be shape-shifting. It's hard to tell. There is compression, there is blurring because of the zoom in. So we don't know, but you can see the shape. You can definitely see it's a non-human of some kind. You can see that eye showing up there. And so this is real. You may be saying to yourself, what is this? Well, God tells us exactly what it is. God says these are the serpents from the Garden of Eden, okay? These reptilians. And they're here doing the same thing that they've always been doing, okay? Because God tells us exactly what their nature is. The whole purpose of the serpent going into the Garden of Eden to talk to Eve and get her to eat from the tree was to what? Deceive and destroy man. Okay? Now, these things, this is just a little blurry kind of far shot. You can see it kind of barely, but people are going to see these things out in the open soon enough. Okay? This is coming. And all the people that laughed at people like me and David Icke and Alex Jones and those who know that there's non-humans running around here who are in charge of all this stuff, we're going to be vindicated. And those people who denied it are going to look like the people who deny it, like in a movie, and they don't look too good, okay? So get on this. Realize this is real, okay? And now the thing is, here's what's happening. They eat human flesh and blood, okay? Because God says Adam was made of the dust, and then God says to the serpent, dust shall you eat all the days of your life, okay? The whole story is they live underground, they live among us using shape-shifting and other disguises, mental control, They kill or memory wipe anybody who finds out about them. And it's not just serpents. There's all kinds. Okay, not just reptilians, but there's felines, canines, insectoids. The two main enemies, God tells us in Luke 10:19, is serpents and scorpions, and all the power of the enemy. And if you are a Christian, he says, behold, I give you power to tread on those serpents and scorpions and all the power of the enemy, which is Satan, also a reptilian being, which is why the deceiving reptiles are the top of the pack. And the thing is, they use high tech. Their mental capacity is much higher than humans. You got to realize that. And they control and own everything. They're controllers, okay? This is what you got to understand about the serpents. They own and control. They like to control but they need human flesh and blood. And underground they have machines. There's a thing on the James Bartley channel, and it can take a human body and suck it dry in like 2 seconds, like that, and all the blood comes out into a cup, and they put it in barrels, and this is what they eat. And there's all kinds of non-humans here. Mermaids are real. They have these whole underwater kingdoms. Why do you think they're keeping UFOs a secret in all countries? And they control all countries. They have humanity under control. Everything that you're seeing on the news, it's all choreographed for a plan. Okay, it's all fake. Why do you think you feel like you're being screwed in society? Well, you are. Okay, because they have set up everything. Okay, these serpents are just the top of the pack, but these non-beasts that live among us, which we have a right to know, because our policy and our taxes are going to a government which has these non-humans and is controlled by these non-humans, and it's controlling everything. And we have a right to know. We have been victimized all this time. You say, well, why is God allowing this? Okay, why does God make this unfair situation where we're so lame compared to them? Okay, the reason he's doing that is because man needed to experience sin. Okay, you had to have a free choice about whether you were going to come away from sin, whether you were going to choose God, or whether you're going to say, nope, I don't need God, which is Jesus Christ and his work on the cross. And if you know, you can make your choice, but if you choose against God, okay, you say, I don't need God's word, okay, I don't need the authorized King James Bible, you say that, and you say that's just not for me. Well, then realize what is for you. Okay, you're going to be serving Satan, and you're going to be eaten by Satan, either consumed or cast into hell, or both, which is what I think happens. They eat you, and then your soul gets cast into hell. Okay, they eat your flesh and blood, and then your soul body has a physical form as well, and then they eat that, and then your spirit goes to hell. I don't know how it works. I mean, I don't know how the spirit realm works, but the main thing is this. Okay, if you want to avoid the fate of having your blood sucked out, and then that's it. You just toss your corpse aside and use it for dog food or whatever, or get taken to Mars or whatever, and then go down into hell where you'll suffer unimaginable torment, and there's no escape whatsoever, day or night. A completely miserable situation that I wouldn't. I honestly, it's so terrible. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. It's so horrible. I can't even imagine what this is. Okay, people getting burned to the skeleton, but you don't die. You're just still there, burning. It just goes on and on. There's people that are there. They looked at them and they said, "There's no hope." Okay, now these serpents that you see here in this picture, these creatures, they know that when you sin, you go to this place. Why do you think they call them devils? Why do you think society has all this stuff to make you sin? Luxury goods, pornography, entertainment that supports every kind of sin, from adultery to perversion and all this stuff, and eating in a gluttonous way, and businesses that oppress people, and businesses and foods that make people sick, and a fake medical system and a fake education system. Why do you think they have constructed all of this? So that you continue in sin, so they can eat you. They are desperate. We are their, like we eat cows and chickens, they eat us. Okay, and that's why they had this whole thing set up, as horrible as that is to understand. So I'm telling you, if you want to escape being a victim of that, you got to make a friend of God. And how you make a friend of God is that you simply say a prayer to God, telling God that you believe in his Son and his work on the cross, which was a symbolic payment for your sin, that you can get out of it. It's an opportunity, not a promise and a pass. But if you will show yourself worthy in that covenant simply by saying a prayer to God, a real simple prayer, just telling him, God, I want to be saved in Jesus Christ because I know that that's your son and that's who you sent as the doorway for friendship and unity with God. And God promises in his word there will be no more pain, no more sorrow, no more death, and no more crying. This is a promise. It's ironclad in his word. The Authorized King James Bible. Don't be fooled by people saying mistranslation, blah, 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 blah. No, it's perfect. Psalm 12:6 tells us the words of the Lord are pure. Now, if you're watching this, it's not too late. Say this prayer now. Father in heaven, please save my soul by the work of your Son Jesus on the cross, and show me your pure words in the Authorized King James Bible.